All right, and then the last step is, although it's not required for this, I think it does look better to probably center those grades just to give it a little bit of space. Okay, next up, count the number of A's, B's, C's, D's, and F's using the appropriate function. So looking in this column, we want to use the COUNTIF function to determine how many A's, B's, C's, D's, and F's fall in here. Well, here is our table already formatted for us. It's a 10-point scale. Since it's in order from A's to F's, Excel can do the math, and it knows if a grade falls between an 80 and a 90, it's going to be a B. 70 and an 80, it's going to be a C, so on and so forth. So we're going to go to cell N3, and we want to use the COUNTIF function. There's a few ways you can search for it. For this one, I usually type the word equals count, and I find COUNTIF. I'm going to double click COUNTIF, and for most people using Excel, I don't like writing the formula out the long way. I think it's much easier to hit the FX button and have these boxes to use. So we have simply two options. We have the range and the criteria. Well, the range is the range of cells we're looking at. So our range goes from, looks to be J6 all the way down to J18. That's my range. Those are all my grades. The criteria for this first one, since I'm in cell N3, was an F. Now, you can't see the letter F here, but rest assured it's behind that, and that's going to be important. I don't want to type the letter F on my keyboard. I want to use cells. So I'm going to click cell M3. And sure enough, it pops up F. It's already telling me there's 0 Fs, and if you look down this column, that is accurate. So I'm going to press OK. And that's 0. Now, since I put this formula, which you can see right here, in this cell, here's what's going to happen. When I drag this down, that M3 is going to go to M4, M5, M6, M7, which is exactly what I want. And I'm going to hit escape to come back out of it. All right, let's see if this works. I'm going to use my fill handle, drag it straight down, and just like that, I think I've got it. So let's do a quick spot check. It says we have 2 D's. Let's see. There's one and there's one. That's accurate. It says we have 3 C's. 1, 2, 3. That's right. 5 B's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it says 3 A's. 1, 2, 3. So it's always good to kind of check your COUNTIF just to make sure that that indeed works. So that one's done. Next step in the directions looks like the third bullet. Add a data validation to the regions column using the list of regions A25 to A28. We're going to add an input message and an error that reads. Okay, so here is our regions. They want us to use that in the regions column, which is column E, but these aren't drop downs, as you can see, right? I can type anything over these and it's going to allow me to do that, right? We want to prevent that from happening, essentially. So in order to do that, we need to create a data validation. So the data validation is going to be over cell E6 all the way down to E18. I'm going to go to data and data validation. And I'm brought to this screen. Very important. It's a list. You always want to change that first. So we want to make it a list. And then my source is where my data is. Well, what you can see here is my source is A25 to A28. There's my source. My input message and an error alert that reads only input data from the drop-down list. And it tells me I need no title.